Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Namaskara, Shubhodaya. Warm welcome to second day at Bengaluru Tech Summit 2025. We witnessed an awesome start yesterday, and well begun is half done, they say. The same hope and pride carried. We would be starting today's session in this hall. We would be witnessing a couple of engrossing and educative sessions in this hall today. May I request the panelists for the first session, and I would call upon moderator for the first session today. May we have Shri Raghu Dharmaraju to moderate the first session, CEO, Art Park. He has over 20 years of experience driving deep tech and social impact innovation, building startups and leading national AI and data initiatives with IISc, ICMR, Google, and NITI Aayog. A founding leader at Vadhwani AI, he helped raise approximately more than $20 million and scale global health solutions. He works across digital health, agriculture, and climate with degrees from IIT Madras, UMass, and Amherst and Cornell, and so on. May I request Shri Raghu Dharmaraju to moderate the first session for the day. The panelists Abhishek Singh ji to give the keynote address, and Dr. L. Venkata Subramaniam and Prayank Swaroop will be joining the same session. Over to Shri Raghu ji.
Good morning, everyone. Did you get your coffee? All right, I hope so. Either ways, we have someone who is going to wake you up pretty soon here. Shri Abhishek Singh ji. This ecosystem honestly does not need an introduction to him. He's been one of the key pillars of the India AI mission and now also architecting the India AI Summit. So we are going to kick off with an opening keynote. The point I want to make here about the AI track today is it's being done really as a pre-event to the India AI Summit in February. So you have what you call the AI Universe track. We have foundation models, Industry 5.0 in robotics, AI for breakthrough science and engineering, AI for social good, what it really takes, and we end with a panel on AI infra, both software and hardware, right? But to kick this off, we'll start with an opening address on the road to the AI Impact Summit, Shri Abhishek Singh.
Is there a clicker?
Can we get the slides on, please?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Raghu, and I must thank the Bangalore ecosystem and Bangalore Karnataka state government for organizing this Bangalore Technology Summit and having this session on the road to AI Impact Summit. I know, in fact, Raghu asked me to give a keynote along the panel, and I was asking him what would he want me to speak in the keynote and what he would want me to cover in the panel, because I did not want to repeat things. So the thing with and about AI, this ecosystem knows a lot about what's happening in artificial intelligence and what's happening in, you have a clicker? What's happening around the world, what we are doing, and a lot of it will be covered in the panel that we will be doing, and also in the sessions that follow about foundation models, about applications, about data, and about compute, about how we are trying to kickstart the ecosystem in India. So what I will do is that in the brief keynote that I've been asked, what I will do is that I'll let the audience know about where we are on the Impact Summit that we are having in February. We are getting a lot of queries, a lot of interest from across the world. So I'll just give you a brief overview of the Impact Summit and how we are planning it as we move in the last 3 months for the summit. So this summit, as we all know, is like in the sequence of the summits that started at Bletchley Park in UK in 2023, where the safety and security were the key focus areas for the whole world. This followed the summit in Korea in May 24, wherein the ambit was expanded from safety to including safety and innovation. And onwards this year, earlier this year, we co-hosted we co-chaired the Action Summit at Paris, wherein the scope was not only safety and security, but also included sustainability, future of work, public interest AI, governance. So the ambit really expanded, and our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, was there along with President Macron, and it came out with this whole call for how the world can come together for making AI more useful, more relevant for the larger community. And onwards, India has staked its claim for hosting the next summit, and we are hosting the Impact Summit in February, 19th and 20th of February, and we are calling it the Impact Summit, which will primarily focus on impact on the key pillars of people, planet, and progress. The way the summit has been designed is that on the 19th and 20th, we have on the right side of the slide, you see, we have an exhibition, we have an opening ceremony, we have a leaders plenary, and we are expecting around 15 to 20 heads of government will be attending the summit. We have got confirmations from President Macron, President Lulu of Brazil, and Prime Minister from Canada, and several other state leaders are expected to join. We are expecting around 15 to 20 world leaders at the summit. Then we have a CEO roundtable, wherein lots of CEOs from global and Indian companies have confirmed, which includes Mr. Jensen Huang of NVIDIA, the CEO of Qualcomm, the CEO of Anthropic, Dario, then the CEO of Schneider Electric, and we are expecting Brad from Microsoft, and similarly tech leaders from Google, from OpenAI, and other companies. So it will be a gathering of key tech leaders, and I'm sure many leaders from Bangalore also would be there, our Indian tech companies. Then we'll have lots of panels, lot of roundtables, discussions, which will focus on all the key themes that we have at the summit. And then to ensure that we take the summit across to the whole country and across, we have 5 regional convenings, 5 global convenings, more than 200 pre-summit events have been planned. Then a lot of flagship events, working group meetings have been done so that we involve all the key stakeholders in the planning of the summit. The rough numbers that we are looking at is more than 100 countries, around 50 plus global leaders, 200 high-impact events in the run-up to the summit. Then lots of deliverables that have been planned, like what the summit is going to achieve. Then we are looking at almost 40,000 people joining in the in person, and more than 100,000 virtually attendees will be there. The key objectives will of course be how do we democratize AI, how do we ensure access to compute, data sets, algorithms to the larger global community? How do we involve the global south in the whole discourse? How do we focus on developing indigenous and local AI solutions? How do we build an AI for good solutions, like a use case repository for AI solutions? And what we are trying to do here is trying to ensure that AI adds a layer to the DPI story that we have given to the world. And the way I am looking at it is DPI raised to the power of AI. Just like we say x square, x cube is similarly DPI with the exponent as AI, which will ensure that the digital public infrastructure solutions in healthcare, agriculture, education, they are available in multiple languages, they are available in voice-enabled interface, and this will be an offering that we can give it to the whole world. Then we are also looking at creating an AI commons, wherein all the tools required for safe, trustworthy, ethical, responsible AI solutions are kind of created as an open source repository which the whole world can use. And ultimately the whole objective, the cutting thread across the various themes and sessions will be that how do we give a voice to the global south for in the global discourse on AI. The impact is focused on 3 key pillars of people, planet, progress. People, when we look at impact of AI on people, it will look into all the issues related to jobs, related to skilling, related to ensuring that AI doesn't impact people adversely. The impact on planet will address issues related to sustainability, ensuring energy efficient compute, green data centers, as also using AI for addressing climate solutions. Then progress will have 2 dimensions, AI for economic growth, how it can lead to efficiency gains, productivity gains, and also AI for social good, how it can help transform access to services across sectors like healthcare, education, agriculture. The 7 themes that we are looking at the summit are, of course, economic growth and social good, democratizing AI resources, inclusion for social empowerment, safe and trusted AI, human capital. Science is a big theme which we have introduced in the whole discourse with regard to how AI can be used for cutting-edge research, how AI can be used for drug discovery, how AI can be used for genome mapping. So that whole dimension is also being covered at the summit. And Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore is helping us curate this entire session along with Department of Science and Technology and ANRF. Then resilience, innovation and efficiency is a very key theme which will cover issues of sustainability, efficiency, and therein we are not only looking at green data centers and making AI consume less energy, we're also looking at how do we use AI to make the grid itself more efficient. How do we reduce transmission losses by using artificial intelligence? So that's again a focus area that we have at the summit. There are a lot of pre-summit events. This is also the BTS is also becoming a pre-summit event. This session, as also the sessions being curated by STPI across, and you will see the Art Park exhibition that we have and the STPI exhibition, wherein lots of solutions related to AI, which will be showcased. The main summit is also being presented here. We have had pre-summit events in 17 countries so far, across 50 cities in India, and we are getting a lot of involvement of all stakeholders. And the objective of these pre-summit events is to hear from people, hear from key researchers, startups, industry, with regard to what they would want us to focus in the summit. And the deliverables of these pre-summit events will ultimately flow in the declaration that will be adopted at the summit and in the session that will be curated at the main summit. There are some of the snapshots of the pre-summit events that has happened across the country. Many of you would have participated across the country and the world. Many of you would have participated in some of these sessions and events, but what it has done is to bring together the entire global AI community into the narrative about India's Impact Summit. So again, these are some pre-summit event snaps. I will not go into details. One second. Yeah. So we also have 3 flagship events that we have launched, again, which will be very relevant for this community. We have launched 3 innovation challenges. One is an AI innovation challenge, which is open to all global startups and researchers. One is for women-led startups and women researchers, AI by Her. And one also we have Yuva AI, which is like for youth below the age of 21, students and all. And we are getting lots of entries from across the world, but I am sure Bangalore will be the leading hub from where we'll get lots of entrepreneurs, lot of startups, lot of AI champions who will be participating in these innovation challenges. Details of this is available on our website, impact.indiaai.gov.in. So please share info about this with all your in all your WhatsApp groups and all your AI communities that you have, so that we can get maximum participation on this. We also have a research symposium which is being curated by IIIT Delhi, and Kalika is here who is helping us curate that. The research symposium includes papers that were presented by experts around what has been done in the field of AI, and we also have a poster a poster exhibition wherein researchers from the global south will be presenting that. This is again a global event in which we are getting entries from across the world. But I am sure researchers and people who are working in the field of AI will have lots to contribute on this dimension as well. Then we are also publishing lots of documents as deliverables for the summit. With WHO, we are working on a compendium on casebook on AI health-related cases, which is being published, for which we are sourcing reports and case studies in healthcare that has been done. With International Energy Agency, we are working on creating a report on AI and energy security. With Niti Aayog, we also have a pitch fest. In which we are getting VCs who will be committing funds to the startups at the summit. So that, for that also the call will be published soon, and we are getting a lot of VCs from across India to commit to funding, and there will be startups who will get an opportunity to pitch to the VCs and get funding at the summit. So what we have done is tried to curate an entire session, entire summit, so that it doesn't become like a usual talking shop in which people come and just talk. We are trying to create a platform, build a platform for the AI community and the global south, and have some tangible deliverables which we can follow up and ensure that we are able to support those who are working in the field of AI. So this is in brief about the Impact Summit, and I am sure as we go forward in the last 3 months, as we head into the summit in February, a lot more events will be happening in Bangalore, in Karnataka, across India, across the world, in which many of you will be able to participate. Feel free to give your advice, give your suggestions with regard to what more we should do, because we do seriously want to make this summit better than any other summit that has happened across the world. So with that, I will just conclude, and of course AI mission and other stuff we'll try to cover in the panel that we have. So thank you for giving this opportunity and this platform for showing what we are trying for the summit.
So now let's kick off the panel. These are not exactly folks, again, who need a lot of introduction, but I'll introduce them nevertheless. Dr. L. Venkatasubramaniam, formerly a researcher with IBM Research, is a master inventor who's been leading their AI as well as quantum work. Most recently, he was the, what's interesting about Priyank is he is helping shape the investment thesis of one of the largest venture capital firms in the world, with a view not just on India, but the entire globe and the latest technology developments across, right? And it wasn't exactly an accident that we brought these three folks together. Looking forward to an interesting discussion that brings across policy from government angle, from research, as well as large corporations view. That I hope Venkat will bring to the table, and Priyank from VCs and startups. We ourselves at Art Park are a fairly unique entity that actually sits at the intersection of these three ecosystems. And we build innovations, innovators, launch startups, launch DPIs and DPGs. So hopefully I'll do a decent job harnessing the insights that these gentlemen have. Can you hear me? All right. So let's jump right in. My first question is to Dr. Venkatasubramaniam here. As I just mentioned, AI and quantum are huge technology spheres. They are also interlinked. Help this audience understand this connection between them and how perhaps India should be thinking about it.
Hi, good morning. So, AI, as you know, has been emerging as the engine which learns from data. You give it lots of data, it keeps learning from that. That's AI. Quantum, on the other hand, is emerging as the engine which can explore very huge data spaces, complex possibilities, and then pinpoint answers from that. Okay, so these are the, at a broad level, these are the two emerging technologies that we are seeing at this point of time. Now, for about 30 years, I think these two areas were running parallelly. But right now, what is happening is they are converging. That convergence is happening, and in very complex ways. Okay, so one is, for example, AI today is helping design quantum hardware. Okay, so that's one area. AI is also helping design quantum algorithms. And also AI is helping design quantum circuits, which you run on quantum computers. On the other hand, quantum is trying to accelerate AI, especially very complex problems like drug discovery, things like large optimization problems. So as a very simple example, you try to simulate caffeine. We all know caffeine. It's there in our coffee, for example, right? You try and simulate caffeine molecule on a classical computer, you will require 10 to the power 48 bits, which is like 1/10 the total number of atoms present on Earth. Are we ever going to build a supercomputer that big? It's not going to happen. But on the other hand, on a quantum computer, all you require are 160 qubits. So there are a class of problems which quantum is going to accelerate. AI is already accelerating quantum. So this interplay is happening. And I don't know how many people here know, okay, which country has the maximum number of quantum engineers? China. Those who think it's China. Those who think it's US. US, okay, India. It's actually India. India has the highest number of talent in quantum engineering today, okay. And that is a deadly, deadly combination, AI plus quantum, which only India has, okay. And that means, you know, as we accelerate some of these things in India through conferences like these, it's a great opportunity for young people to look for new areas and new solutions that you can drive. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You have already set the bar high for India, right? So now let's go to Priyank. Capital is where rubber meets the road, right? What has happened on the policy side over the last couple of years is this incredible impetus from government. The India AI mission, ANRF, now RDIF, right? What's all this doing to the startup ecosystem? What's it doing to the VC ecosystem? What do you see now? Where do you think it will go? Broad question, but...
No, I think, so I've been a VC for now close to 15 years. And when we joined, it was investing in roti kapda makan companies because they were the ones which are going fastest, digitization and consumer. Companies which were focused on research, very long lead times, were very small portion of our portfolio. So we used to invest in drug research, we used to invest in bioinformatics, but we knew that they will take 10, 15 years to, like some of our companies now are going for trials and hopefully they'll exit. But like Venkat also mentioned, AI has brought about a fast change of pace in deep tech. I think policy especially has been very, very helpful. The fact that the government is being a customer as well as giving incentives is enabling VCs to rethink and look at deep tech more. I think deep tech ecosystem, I was reading some report, the deep tech dollars in VC ecosystem in India have grown 30x in the last 5 years. So that's a pretty big statement. Like Art Park has been there for such a long time. I went to Art Park first time in my life this year. And we were very close to investing in...
It's nice to think that we have been around for a long time. We've existed, we were a COVID baby, existed barely for 5 years, and perhaps really been running for 4 years or so, right? But thank you.
But when I went, I think the big things, and some things you don't think as a VC, right? Like, hey, we are taking technologies from outside the world. There is national security involved. A very simple case in point, which was shocking for me, was like Microsoft switched off Microsoft Windows and Office of one of the Indian companies because they were trading with Russia. I think those are semantics which were not real earlier and become very real. But I think for the VC as a capitalist, the biggest thing has been the customer as the government and defense. I think those are very, very big, and those are opportunities only available to Indian startups. That is a big thing for us because our conversations in our IC is, hey, this is a $20 billion market only available to Indian startups. Nobody else from the world can come and capture it, and so we are doubling down on investments in defense, doubling down on investments in manufacturing, IP-led manufacturing. Earlier, VCs were only doing asset-light manufacturing. Now the intention is, hey, how can we build products which can serve the Indian economy and we can export from India? So I think all of that has changed in the last 3-4 years, and Axel has been investing a lot, and I think you'll see more and more VCs investing in such technologies more often. Quantum is a very good example. We did our first quantum investment in the last 12 months, and we are now trying to do more. I think the catch though is VCs also need to educate ourselves. Like the first meeting when we did for quantum, I could not understand anything what is going on. And one of my colleagues, basically he spent 4 months reading quantum mechanics books to be able to talk to the founder and understand. So I think VC needs to also level up in Indian ecosystem, and I think that is bound to happen now because more deep tech investing is going to come. So yeah.
Wonderful. With that, let me come to Abhishek Singh, sir. Now, as I just mentioned, there's lots happening from policy angle, and India AI mission is right at the center of this whole government impetus towards AI in India. Could you call out, perhaps for the audience, some of the key pieces of the India AI mission, and especially as it's relevant to deep tech?
Yeah, thank you, Raghu. And coming back to AI mission, and I'll primarily pick from what Venkat said, is like our key strength has been in the tech space has been talent. So whether it's AI, whether it's digital, we have been regarded as the tech garage of the world. And when it comes to AI, the expectations was that India should be leading, but the fact remains that we are much, much behind China and the US. Now, if you look at when the AI mission was being thought of, we tried to see what can we do to ensure that we are able to realize the potential that we seem to have or we should be having. And the gaps in this whole AI story were identified, which related to lack of ability of compute, lack of ability of data sets, not having an Indian foundation model, not having sufficient capital for the startups. So AI mission is being implemented as a 7-pillar strategy, many of you would be aware of. So amongst all the 7 pillars, we have tried to move forward in the last 1 year or so, and more so on the compute pillar, because GPU, access to GPUs was becoming a limiting factor. So we, through a very innovative participation of the private sector in investing in the compute and providing it to the research community and the startup community, we have been able to kind of empanel around 38,000 GPUs, which is available at a very low cost, 65 rupees after the 40% subsidy that we offer, 65 rupees per GPU per hour. So that is solving part of the problem, but again, for a country like India, if we have to train models and if we have to do inferencing, we need hundreds of thousands of GPUs, and then only we'll be able to be somewhere near to where the best in the world is. So we have moved a few inches forward, but in the coming months we'll be requiring to make much more investments in the ability of compute that we have. Then on foundation models, we are supporting around 12 initiatives. One initiative which is from Bangalore only, Sarvam, is very near to launching their model, and we hope that we'll be able to showcase what they have been building at the summit in February. Other than that, Bharat Gen at IIT Bombay, they are also at a very advanced stage. We have Gentic from ISC Bangalore, again from here, plus Socket, plus Gyani, GAN, and IntelliHealth and other initiatives that are there. And we hope that with the government funding for the foundation models, and for foundation models we provide 100% of the compute support that is required, we will be able to have some models which will be indigenous, which will be Indian, which will train in Indian data sets, in Indian context, and reduce our dependence on the foreign models. Then on datasets platform, we do have AI Kosh that has been set up, which has got more than 3,500 datasets to begin with from both public sector and private sector, and it's kind of providing a sandbox environment for those who are wanting to train models or build applications to leverage that. So it's a continuous work out there, and I hope that the datasets will go up to many thousands more in the days to come. On application development pillar, we have been constantly running grant challenges, innovation challenges. We have identified around 30 solutions across domains of agriculture, healthcare, climate change, governance, education, learning disabilities, and many of these solutions are now in the process of being scaled up, and from time to time we are launching innovation challenges. In fact, one of it for image recognition is currently ongoing. Several more are coming, so again startups can go and participate there. And in the innovation challenges, what we do is that it's not that we give a prize money or a reward. What we do is that those who are selected for building an application, they get a contract for running this solution for a year or longer. So that way it's a work order, it's kind of a procurement, because again, procuring AI solutions has been a big challenge within the government. Then we have a future skills pillar in which, even though we are good at talent, we know that if we don't invest sufficiently in skilling, we will be at a risk as AI advances. So we do have a program under which we are providing fellowships to students who are doing undergrad or masters or research, and very attractive fellowships which are there for taking up AI projects. And these fellowships are not limited to only engineering or science students. These fellowships are available to students of across disciplines, whether they are studying medicine and taking up AI projects, whether they are doing commerce, law, or liberal arts. So if they are taking up AI projects in any domains, those funding is available. Again, details are available on our website. We are also setting up data labs, because we do believe that in tier 2, tier cities, the jobs that we created in this economy will be requiring lots of data annotators, data scientists, data analysts. So we do have courses on data annotation and data science that is being launched through state governments and through NELIT in polytechnics and ITIs. So again, that's an opportunity that is there. And we are also looking at a model in which we can partner with industry to run these courses, so that ultimately those who are being trained will find employment in the industry itself. Then we do have a startup financing pillar in which we are working with the VCs and investors to come out of a model of a fund of funds in which we can co-invest with the VCs in startups. So that's again an initiative that has been taken. And the last but not the least, the seventh pillar that we have is for safe and trustworthy pillar. We came out with the India AI's governance guidelines around 2 weeks back, and they kind of balance the need for promoting innovation and the need for restricting any harm that can be caused. So towards that objective, we are taking up projects in partnership with academic institutions and not-for-profits and industry for building tools to ensure responsible adoption of AI. It's one thing to say that AI should be safe and trustworthy, but how do you test them? How do you have bias mitigation tools? How do you have tools for ethical certification? How do you have tools for stress testing? How do you have tools for detecting deep fakes or labeling AI generated content? So we are developing these tools, and these will again be available on AI Coach as a repository which anyone can access. So that's, and then under the safe and trustworthy pillar, we are also trying to give a structure to the AI Safety Institute that India has launched. And once that structure is there, then we'll be able to do much more to ensure that whatever AI is being developed is not only helping us move forward on the paths to innovation, on paths to efficiency, productivity, and expanding the reach of services, but also limiting the harm that can be caused by AI. So in brief, that's the update on the AI mission 7 pillars.
Wonderful. Thank you. So clearly, government support, capital, compute, all these things are lining up. So what gives, right? Often people ask this question. So with everyone being so gung-ho, and you have had this opportunity to have a ringside view of how research does translate or does not translate into products and impact, right? So the question to you is, while finally India mentally is transitioning from let's do lots of startups to let's do core tech, let's do core tech based startups, what are the changes, especially perhaps in our research ecosystem, that we need to think about, right? Because in some sense you're a constituent of that ecosystem. And of course, Indian industry, research across academia and industry.
So you look at anything, you know, today, you look at your phone or any electronics that you have, okay. 5 countries control the supply chain of this. China, Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, US. Where is India in that? India isn't there. It doesn't figure in any of these. But did Indians not contribute to building this? A lot of it they did. Okay, so you look at any company today, in any of these spaces which build these things, Indians are the major contributors to this, building these technologies, okay. So, what is the gap? Why are we as India not having any say in the supply chain? Zero say. But at the same time, we are actually building a lot of the technology today that drives the world, okay. So we are doing that. And I think that this question is a very important question there, which says that, you know, yes, we have talent which we keep building, greatest talent in the world in AI, quantum, everything, but we are not translating that talent, or we are not giving that talent the opportunity in the Indian ecosystem to build things, okay. That talent is going somewhere else and building things. But within the ecosystem, we are not giving it that opportunity, okay? And I think some of the things my esteemed panelists talked about, which is, you know, bringing funding, bringing, you know, all this compute power, give people the access to that. I think those are very critical things which we are doing well right now. I think Art Park is one great example of that, where Indian talent is given an opportunity to build things here, you know. So I don't think there's any gap, a big gap in terms of knowledge. I think the gap is in terms of the mentorship, in terms of the funding, in terms of the opportunities that we are giving our young people within India.
Thank you. Over to you, Priyank. as you often we hear that, hey, we need to create unicorns. We've created unicorns in e-commerce, we have created unicorns in SaaS. As we now try to build startups based on deep research, is unicorns the right metric? Does that align with themes such as sovereignty and strategic autonomy? So these are some important things we are grappling with. So love to hear your thoughts.
So I'm a VC, right? So our job is popularizers, funding unicorns, finding them. I can tell you that too much money or chasing unicorn status creates a wrong set of incentives. It's great in the media, it's great in public, but there are so many unicorn companies which crash and burn. Because people chase scale, people chase growth. It is definitely funded by VCs because capitalism wants quick returns, right? So all of us, we are talking about LLMs, foundational models today because in the short term, that is where money is, that is where innovation is, it's important, very important. But like we discussed deep tech focus in India, when I interact with deep tech founders, there are founders who do it for a passion. They do it for curiosity. And because they are not too much worried about whether they're going to make $1 billion or not, they're focused on solving hard problems. And we funded a company recently called Fabheads. 9 years the founder has been working on creating amazing technology, 3D printing of carbon fibers. Only 7 companies in the world have it. 3 of them are in US, 2 of them are in Europe, 1 in China and 1 in India. And Europe has banned, and US has banned export of that technology, and 1 we have in India. And I was like, I met him in the meeting and I was like, 9 years you've been at it without any funding. Why? Like, I would not let my son do that. And I think he was just passionate about it. I wanted to solve a problem like this. We are looking at a company which is doing autonomous submarines. The founder went to college because he had a very high rank in IIT. He took naval architecture because I knew I wanted to build a submarine. And for 7 years he has been doing it. He told his parents he will not go for a job. He will only build his passion and go for it. And now after 7-8 years he's getting funding. I think those are very daring founders. To all the talent which Venkat mentioned, to all the support which government is doing for ecosystem creation, I think at the end of the day, India is at a cusp of, having even bigger dreams than just being the Amazon or the Google of India. I think that is what is needed. The great part is our economy is supporting it, our ambitions are supporting it. And I think unicorn status definitely should not be top of mind. The world is moving towards where easy things, AI is going to make everything which is easy to be built will be built. So like I wonder, we have among all VCs, there's this constant debate, what will our kids do? They are in college, when they go to college, is a degree going to be enough? We have gotten to that discussion that PhDs might be needed. Our kids can't be just BTechs anymore, and which basically means you have to work very, very hard on deeper problems. Only then you will create value in this world. That is the world which we are going towards. AI is a very polarizing technology. People who have it are going to compound faster and faster. So the only way to catch up is to do harder problems. And I definitely discourage, and I mean, by the way, when I was a junior VC, I used to think that, oh, I wish my company was a unicorn. After 2021, so many companies have crashed and burned that, I mean, any founders here, I would say, I think the right way to think about this is, are you solving a hard problem? Are you going 5 years out? Are you creating things which nobody else will be able to create? Don't chase funding. Funding will come. It's not going to be easy, but funding will come. India as an ecosystem, government has incentives. We are aligned in finding those hard problems because as AI wave is showing to all of us, to the victor go the spoils. So if you solve a very hard problem, like what is OpenAI, what is Anthropic, these people have solved very hard problems. So the world is at their doorstep. And if you can do that, nothing like it. So.
I have a kind of a tough question for you now. He just said that we want to solve we need to solve hard problems. From initially when we started at Art Park, there was lots of impatience to get lots of startups out, right? The tendency that happens to incubators then is we put capital on things that are already out there and we count them, right? We took the other way where we said 3-4 years and finally those innovations are coming out. And the same thing often I hear, okay, we are getting funding now. Will we have funding for 5-7 years consistently to go after these hard problems? And some of these are decadal challenges. China is here now because they have invested for 10 to 15 years. So what are you seeing in terms of how policymakers are thinking about it and how you are addressing? Because you're so, critical to how India is thinking about AI and frontier technologies.
See, I agree with Priyank that instead of chasing valuations and chasing unicorn statuses, we need to focus on what problems we are trying to solve. And if we are able to create value, then only valuations will come. Otherwise, just doing circular investments, which is happening across the world, doesn't help in the long run. So we'll need to identify real problems, solve it with real talent, and then try to ensure in what ways we can do. And when we do that, when we're solving real problems, the example that he gave and the examples across the world, it requires patient capital. It requires long, 5 to 7 years is also a short time horizon. I think if you really want to build something of value, it may require 10 years, 12 years of focusing on it, building on it, improving upon it, trying to make it the best, and then only the returns or the valuations will come. If we have a short-term horizon, if we just try to get VC money and give it to the Meta and Google for ad spends and try to acquire customers, it will not work in the long run. It may be a short-term strategy for short-term gains, but long-term will not be able to build anything. So whether it's China or whether even a company like NVIDIA, look at the time horizon they took to build what they have built. So that becomes very, very important. Towards that objective at government policy level, whether it's the deep tech fund of funds or whether it's the RDI initiative or whether the quantum mission or AI mission, we do realize that in order to achieve that, there will be some level of funding support that will be required from the government, plus added on upon from funding from investors, from VCs, from tech companies. What I don't see happening in India particularly is the investment that can be done by our big tech companies. That is what we need to target, because we have established companies who have a business line which gives them a margin, 20% margin, and they have cash surpluses also. So they need to invest more in building AI application and solutions, because if we don't do, we run at a huge risk. The entire IT industry, IT sector has a huge risk running on, because in the last 25, 30 years, since Y2K and all, our prime advantage has been the cognitive power that we have had, the ability to use brain power of Indians to solve world problems, that has led to the boom in the IT industry, that has led to we being providing services to the whole world. Now this whole ability that we had of our software engineers, our developers, is facing a challenge from the machines. The AI bots and the AI code generators and the AI tools that OpenAI and Anthropic and Google are making is actually competing with the human talent that we have. And if we don't supercharge, if we don't turbocharge our engineers with those AI skills, we run a huge risk. And if that happens, we'll have a lot to lose. So it is in our interest, it is the interest of our tech industry or IT industry that we invest much more. And that is why government is focusing on investment in the AI sector. That is why we are providing funding support for application development and for building foundation models, or providing compute support. But what the government is doing will be a drop in the ocean. It will have to be matched by the investments, by the industry. It will have to be matched by funding support from VCs and investors, and then only we'll be able to reach where we are. So we do have an opportunity, but we have a huge risk as well, which we need to address.
So thank you for that. With this, actually, let's turn to the audience. Here's a request to audience. Don't go into story, don't go into self-promotion. Tell your name, your organization name, and be very precise with your question. Right? We had a question here. Can someone run the mic?
Hi, this is Sunil Padmanabh. I'm an industry influencer, and my question is to Abhishek Singh. What is government's policy contours around becoming anchor customers for AI prototypes developed by startups? In other words, what is your AI commercialization engine? How will you become the UPI equivalent of an anchor customer both at central and state level?
As I mentioned, under the application development initiative, what we are running is we are running innovation challenges or problem statements. And we had an innovation challenge last year in which we got around 900 applications, out of which 30 have been shortlisted, and around 15 of them are now going to be scaled up in partnership with various Government of India ministries and state governments. Like, for example, there is an AI solution for diagnosing tuberculosis, or agri-advisories for farmers, or AI solution for detecting autism. So these solutions, which have been identified through these solutions, are now being scaled up through this partnership with the state governments and all. And when that scaling up happens, the funding also happens, because whatever the cost for deployment is again met by the concerned ministry or the concerned department. Similarly, we had an innovation challenge for, say, Ministry of Mines, in which AI-based solution for discovering minerals was launched. On AI-based, then again we had for cyber crime, for AI-based solution for classifying cyber crime, that we did for Ministry of Home Affairs. So there is a cost that is given, like a crore was offered for offering these services for a year. So that is how we try to do, so that not only we identify the prototypes and the solutions, but funding support is provided for scaling them up and deploying it across India.
We have a question here.
Good morning. Thank you for such an interesting and thought-provoking discussion. My name is Surbhi and I'm the founder of an edtech startup. My question is to Professor Subramaniam. So, AI is itself a very esoteric topic. I find quantum to be even more esoteric. So in terms of accessibility of knowledge, innovation and breakthrough, we've only recently seen progress in the AI space where we're actually seeing applications and, okay, we can access AI in the palm of our hand. At what stage will quantum also reach that maturity in terms of hardware and software development that it translates into apps and products that common people with no knowledge can actually benefit from that technology? Because it's very hard.
We got the question,
okay,
so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. So that's a very good question, you know. So if you look at AI today, AI has become a general instrument of science. You know, everything, you know, just like the microscope or the telescope, you need the AI today. Okay, AI is needed for it. It doesn't matter which domain you're talking about. Quantum, yes, you're right. It's not yet there. It's still a topic which we are still grappling, understanding with. But I'll also tell you, you know, on NPTEL, there is a platform where people go and learn. Students know about it, I'm sure. So 15,000 students registered for a quantum course, and out of that 15,000, 7,500 were 12th class students. It's not even there in their curriculum, okay, and they're willing to go and learn. In Andhra next week, 50,000 students are going to get trained in quantum, okay. So there is all these training programs which are happening to, you know, make people aware, but you're right, there are no apps, there are no things which are getting solved. But as sir mentioned here, you know, there are governments are coming out with problems. So for example, BharatNet, there is a budget, fiber needs to go to panchayats. It's an optimization problem. So there people are saying, okay, go use quantum AI, whatever you like, go solve this problem, save some money for the government. So I think there are some things which are happening, but that level where you're saying, you know, apps, general apps are there, and we've reached that level, I think we are still a little far out from that.
Well, with that, we have to conclude today's panel. Thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of the AI Universe track here, which is a lead-up event to the AI Impact Summit. The next panel up is Kalika's foundational models as core assets for India. So that's on stage 1. So, thank you.
Thank you all the panelists. May I request Shri Raghu Dharmaraju ji to kindly present our token of respect to all the panelists on the dais. I would request Shri Raghu Dharmaraju ji to kindly present our token of respect to the panelists. I request all the panelists to kindly accept this gratitude from us. May I request Shri Abhishek Singh Ji to kindly present our token of respect to Shri Raghu Dharmaraju, sir. May I request Shri Abhishek Singh Ji to kindly present our token of respect to Shri Raghu Dharmaraju, sir. Thanking all the panelists for the intriguing session and a nice way to start the day with. We would move on to the next section in few moments.